Hello, I'm Karyn Warner, and I am the Associate Director of STEAM Initiatives at the CDE Foundation, and I really appreciate you being on the review team. I'm hoping that this slide presentation will help you to get ready for your own review and grading of all the proposals that are being assigned to you. If you would like to access these slides, I have the link there at the bottom of this slide so you can follow along as we go. I want to make sure that we are all singing from the same songbook, so we will first look at step by step how you will be able to log in to find the proposals that I will be assigning to you for review. And then we'll do a norming activity, and then you will be able to go ahead, log in, and get started. So first, let's look at what are the steps to log in to find your proposals. I'm going to show you here just some screenshots so that you can get kind of an overview. You'll log into Sient, and you can see here where the login button is. If you have not been into the Sient portal before, you will need to create an account to log in. And then after you've logged in, you will click on My Reviews. And then after that, you'll see some reviews, or I'm sorry, some proposals that I have selected for you to review, and you will just click on the Review button. So let's actually get started here and get into the Sient portal so you can see what it looks like. So as I said, you'll come up here to log in. I've been in before, so I already have an account. Otherwise, you would need to create an account. I'm going to log in. And then I need to come up here. I have submissions that I've been testing. So if you've actually created a submission yourself, it will show up here. You will not be assigned your own proposal to be reviewed. It will be reviewed by someone else. But to get to your reviews that are assigned to you, you'll come up to My Reviews, click there. And then you will see what has been assigned to you. So I have one here that is assigned to me to review, and you can see here where I have actually already reviewed one, and I can see the rating I gave it, and I can edit that up until the deadline, which is May 6th. I would love it if you were able to do your reviews by April 29th. It would really help the planning team with being able to see about breakout sessions at the Anaheim Convention Center, what our needs will be. But the official deadline is May 6th. So I would click here on to review the Kiki and KK, and then I can see what they've entered in. This is the primary presenter. Sometimes people have others submit their proposal for them, but we want to make sure that they've given us the correct contact information. And as we scroll down, you can see the strand that was selected for this presentation and the pathways, which are like the tags we'll use in the mobile app for participants to be able to find the sessions they'd like to go to based on certain criteria, like if they want to go to college and career pathways sessions, then they can go look and find those using a filter. So there's 3 pathways here, and then here is a presentation title. This is just a test, so this isn't actually a title, but you get a sense of it. And then this person has chosen a 25-minute quick talk. There's also 45-minute breakout sessions that are hands-on, facilitated, interactive kinds of breakout sessions. And then there's a detailed description. This is what you'll be reading. This is just a test, so they put in nonsense. But here would be the actual detailed description of the presentation that you'd be reading. They also give a brief description, and this is what will show up in the app. So you will focus most of your attention here on this detailed description, and they should be painting a picture for you of what their session will be like, so that you can get an idea of the gist of what they're presenting. And then you can see which grades most align to their presentation, and we have them indicate what are the resources, the takeaways that participants will be able to expect. And it is really important to us that they address the concepts of diversity, equity, inclusion, and access for students and teachers in STEAM. And so they should be able to give you an idea here. And again, this is just nonsense that somebody put in for my test, but there should be something here that will help you, along with a detailed description, understand this presentation. And then any content standards that are aligned with this, if that's applicable. And they can provide you with a link to some slides if their presentation is complete. This is not, it is optional, it's not required, so you may not have any slides to look at, but if they have them there, please do check them out and see what you think. And now gets to the part where you will be rating the submission. So every presentation should be aligned to one of our strands, and so you will look to see if they've actually selected the strand that is appropriate. So whether it's sharing the joy of learning, or it's bolstering the workforce with retention and recruitment of teachers, or if it's really activating our STEAM community and partners. So there are 3 strands, and they would need to be able to select one of those. And if you do not believe that they've selected the correct one, there's a place here where you are able to say no, and then which strand you think it's most aligned with. And then there are pathways, as I mentioned, and so if you think yes, that they selected the correct ones, that's great. If you think they should have actually selected different pathways, you can write that in here so that we can have the correct filter tag words for the mobile app. Presentation title, we ask them to have creative, interesting titles that really give an idea of what their presentation is about. If you think that there's something that could have been more creative, or something that you would like to suggest, we do give you a chance to say that here. All of our presentation proposals should be for peer-led presentations. We do have a place at the symposium for vendors and exhibitors. We will have a special stage in the expo hall area where they can present. And so if you believe, as you read through the detailed description and all the other information that the person submitting gave to you, if you think that this really is probably better suited for the expo hall, please put in that this is a potential vendor or exhibitor. Our planning team will contact these folks and see if they would like to present on the expo hall stage, because it's not really a peer-led presentation. As you review it, though, go ahead for the rest of this and review it as if it's going to be on that stage. So look at the content of it, and then we will, based on what you think the merits of the content are, if it's highly rated, then we will reach out to them and potentially give them a spot on the expo hall stage. So then you can see if it's aligned to the strategies that and ideas, if these are all aligned to what we're hoping for all students in a professional peer-led learning presentation, then we have a rating system. 5 is absolutely, 4 very, 3 moderately, 2 slightly, 1 not at all. So that will be the same as you go through with each of these questions. So, is this going to be something where they are clearly describing the content of the session? And are they talking about how participants will be actively engaged? Are they addressing the concepts of diversity, equity, inclusion, and/or access in a really thought-provoking and actionable way by participants? Then you would rate that here. Would it be beneficial to participants, giving them real-world information? You would rate that here. Is it a high-interest topic, or maybe it's really relevant to a wide range of educators, then you would rate that here. And then we have a place here for you to give an overall evaluation. And we really value your feedback, so this is a place for you to provide additional comments. When you're ready, you can click the Save button to just save all the work, or you can click the Submit button, which I'll scroll back down, and it will save all your feedback, and then you are ready to move on to your next presentation to review. And now we're going to do a norming exercise. I'm going to pause here so you can read this detailed proposal description that came in the previous year, and I'd like you to read through this description and see if you can jot down a score from 5 where you think it's excellent to 1 to where you think it's a pretty poor presentation proposal submission. And so I'd like you to just read through it and then jot down your score. Now that you've had a chance to jot down your score, I want you to think about your score versus the reviewers from a couple of years ago who scored this. A reviewer gave it a 3, another reviewer gave it a 5, and we brought in an additional reviewer, and the score averaged out to a 4.5. So thinking about what you saw here and how those other proposals, so if you thought it was more like a 2 or a 3, think about why you maybe thought that. And if you gave it a 5, know that there was another reviewer that saw that, and we will bring in extra reviewers if we find that there is a big discrepancy between a couple of review grades. So let's look at another one. Read through this and then jot down your score from 5 being excellent, 1 being poor. So now that you've had a chance to jot down your score, this presentation actually scored a 2.3. So we had someone who scored it at a 3 and someone who scored it lower than that, and so 2.3 was the average score for this one. Here's another detailed proposal description. So again, same thing, jot down your score from 5 to 1. Now that you've had a chance to jot down your score, this one ended up being scored an average of 4.2. So how does that relate to how you scored it? And think about why yours maybe was different, if it was different, and what maybe others were seeing in this description that was different than what you saw. And here's our last proposal description. So again, jot down your score from 5 to 1. So now that you've had a chance to jot down your score and read through this, we had in the past a reviewer who scored this at a 2.0, someone else at a 3.0. We brought in an additional reviewer, and this ended up scoring at a 2.5. So this is one that for sure would not have been selected for a breakout session. So there's another part of the review process where you'll be reading through and seeing what the free shareable materials are that are available. So again, jot down your score from 1 to 5. What do you think you would have scored on this one? So this one was actually rated a 4.0 by other reviewers. Here's another description. Jot down your score. This section of the proposal submission was rated 4.0 by one reviewer and 5.0 by another reviewer. It averaged out to 4.5. How does that compare to what you thought? So here's another free shareable materials description that was in a past submission. Jot down your score. Now that you've had a chance to jot down your score, this description actually was reviewed and received a 2.0 and a 3.0. Did you score yours low like other reviewers, or did you score this higher? Think about maybe why yours is different or why it's the same as these other reviewer scores. And so here is the section where they would be letting us know about equity and access and how they address it in their presentation. And so take a minute to look through this, and how would you rate it? 5 being excellent and 1 being poor. So now that you've had a chance to read through this, other reviewers reviewed this as a 3.0, another reviewer at a 4.0, the average was a 3.5. How does that compare to what you were thinking? Here's another description. Read through it and see what you think. Score it between a 5 and a 1. This presentation scored 4.0 for one reviewer and 5.0 with another reviewer. It averaged out at a 4.5. How does that compare with what you were thinking? So now that you've had a chance to see with this norming exercise how different people have reviewed it in the past with some of these submissions, it's time for you to go in and look at your own presentations that you will be reviewing and grading. So you will go into Cvent and you will log in, and then you can click on My Reviews and get started. I would love it if you could have these presentations reviewed, all of them, by Friday, May 6th. It would be very helpful to our planning team if you could actually do it by April 29th, but for sure have them all completed by Friday, May 6th. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email me at Karyn, Karyn, at cdefoundation.org. So I look forward to helping you. You're not alone in this. I am here to help you. And let me know how things are going if you are having trouble. Otherwise, I'll be able to track online in the portal, and I'll be able to see as you complete your reviews. I really appreciate your help, and I appreciate you being an important member of this team. Thank you so much.